Hi friends, my Culinary Expressions welcomes you to another expedition. This time it's the whole wheat pumpkin bread with yeast. Pumpkin bread is either made with yeast or as a quick bread with baking soda and baking powder. Today we are doing the savory version with yeast. Takes a little longer, but effort is worth it. It is a feeling of gratification to make a home-baked bread. It is slightly dense, soft and aromatic with the pumpkin spice. No preservatives, all healthy and fresh ingredients. In spite of using whole wheat flour, there is no compromise on its taste. The whys in-house, all explained, but for that, you have to watch this video carefully until the end. It is perfect to eat on its own, or toasted, or slathered with butter. Before we proceed to make this pumpkin bread, let me remind my dear friends who are visiting this channel for the first time, if you would like to receive these expressions with tips and options, then hit the subscription button right away and press the bell icon to receive notifications. And all my other dear friends, do continue to show your support and zeal by your likes, shares and comments. Now, let's get started. Let's have a look at the ingredients for pumpkin bread. We need 200 grams of whole wheat flour, 100 grams of superfine semolina, or you could take the regular semolina and grind it, 1/3 cup of fresh pumpkin puree, 1 tablespoon of milk powder, half teaspoon of salt, half teaspoon of instant yeast, half teaspoon of sugar, half tablespoon of honey, 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil for kneading, some butter, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice, some more olive oil and around 200 ml of lukewarm water. Apart from this, we need a few pumpkin seeds, melon seeds or flax seeds. As is the case always with baking breads with yeast, in a bowl we take 100 ml of lukewarm water. To this add sugar and instant or active dry yeast. Cover it and let rest for 10 minutes until the yeast is activated. Until the yeast gets frothy and is activated, let's proceed with the other ingredients for the dough. In the mixing bowl, we will mix the whole wheat flour, the superfine semolina, salt, milk powder, honey and the pumpkin spice. Combine everything nicely. For the fresh pumpkin puree, I have peeled and chopped the pumpkin into relatively big chunks. Then roasted the pumpkin pieces at 200 degrees Celsius or until soft. Then let it cool and finally blend the pumpkin into a fine puree. Mix the pumpkin puree very nicely with the flour mixture. In this whole wheat pumpkin bread, we are adding semolina to give strength to the bread. So do not omit semolina. Now getting back to the dough, all the ingredients seem to be combined very well, and now it is time to add in the yeast solution. We will first add the 100 ml of the yeast solution and then we will add more lukewarm water as is needed. Add the water gradually, a little at a time, until a dough is formed. Shh. Lend me your ears and I'll tell you another secret. Since this is a whole wheat bread, so the honey that we add, it masks the nutty flavor of the whole wheat, thereby making the bread tastier. Making breads is a matter of patience and a bit of muscle power. When the dough has come together, then transfer the dough onto a clean working surface. At first the dough will be sticky and tacky, but as you knead, the dough will leave your hands and will become smooth. Can you see the difference? Now the dough has become much more elastic. And now you can add the oil. After adding the oil, knead for another 2 or 3 minutes till you get a soft ball. Finally, apply some more oil on the dough ball and place it in a greased bowl. Just as explained in the Focaccia bread video or the Manakish video on this channel, we shall cover this bowl of dough with a cling wrap and keep it in a warm place for the first proving. Most of the time for a warm place, I preheat an oven and then put it off and then place the dough in the oven for an hour till it doubles in volume. In this first proofing, our dough has doubled in volume. We shall remove the dough and place it on a work surface and then knock out the air. You could have this pumpkin bread with some dips. Punch the dough gently. To shape the dough, dust some flour on a working surface and then roll out the dough according to the length of the loaf pan. Now, very gently lift the side facing you and roll it into a tight loaf. Do this step very carefully. Seal the edges of the loaf. This ensures a good shape of the loaf. Now place this loaf that has been shaped into a loaf tin which is greased with butter. Also apply some more oil on the loaf so that it doesn't dry out during the second proofing. Cover the loaf tin with a cling wrap, but before covering it, grease the cling wrap so that the cling wrap doesn't stick to the loaf. And again for the second proofing, keep the dough in a warm place till it doubles in volume. The loaf expands and gains height during the second proofing. Once the second proofing is done, which takes around 40 minutes, brush the loaf with milk and sprinkle some pumpkin seeds as well as melon seeds. You could also use chia or flax seeds. In the meantime, preheat the oven. Can you see how well the loaf has risen during the second proofing? And into the preheated oven goes this loaf to bake. We shall bake it at 200 degrees Celsius for around 35 to 40 minutes. When baked, remove the loaf from the oven. You will see that the sides of the loaf have left the tin. Now brush some butter on its top. Run a knife around the edges to loosen the sides. Transfer this baked loaf onto a wire rack. Goodness, what a lovely bake! Just see the texture. And after 2 hours of resting, you can slice this bread and enjoy with a cup of hot tea or coffee. You could also have the pumpkin bread as it is or spread some butter. Now friends, I hope you enjoyed this expression. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Very soon I'll be back with another interesting video. Till then, goodbye.